Yesterday morning I drew up just outside our shed, that is in fact our mess room, and place of having a little bit to eat and a cup of tea and things like that. And I put the radio on and listened to quite a pleasant gentle tune, and then the announcer said that with about a minute to go we were approaching a 2-minute silence. So with that I stood, I removed my cap, and on the strike of 11 o'clock I stood in silence for 2 minutes and just contemplated and remembered and thought about all sorts of things. And one of the main things in fact was what a beautiful day it was. The sun was shining, and in fact the position in which I was standing, the sun was beaming straight at me and was very warming on a fairly chilly day. And so my thoughts, as I say, were varied and were fairly positive, and I suppose in some respects thoughts of how lucky I am to be happy and fairly contented, and not under any undue pressure to be something or to do something, and just generally going about my business and in a fairly unobtrusive way, enjoying myself. I like to be polite, and I think a lot of the time people are fairly polite back to me, and this is generally the way I like to go on. And really, in a time of lots of attentions on politics, hopefully other people too are considering these similar things, thinking about others, and I think a lot of us are probably a lot more lucky than we really realise. And as I say, we have lots of material things these days, and the period that we remember most, obviously the conflicts, the Great War and the Second War, and obviously later wars, times of conflict and situations like that. You know, we all have our own feelings about this politically, and things that we would, you know, the ideals, but these things have happened in the past. But it is very important that we do consider our situation now, and where we might have been had things not happened the way they did. And one of the great things about smoking the pipe is the time it gives you to for quiet contemplation and a bit of thought. And I suppose also I have a bit of a perhaps slightly rose-tinted view of chaps and possibly ladies too, in situations where they manage to grab a few moments of respite from perhaps a very horrid situation. Perhaps a few moments they might have just grabbed just to enjoy something familiar, maybe a piece of chocolate or some sort of easement of the circumstance, maybe writing home, or perhaps even smoking a pipe. And this is something that crops up, and something that I think is quite poignant is something such as the pipe could be of great comfort. A small thing, and maybe a very mundane basic thing in the circumstances, but something that would have just taken them away from the moment slightly. And as I say, it's a nice link between the circumstances back then and one in which I like to think of. And as I stood there on Armistice Day with my thoughts, I did think also that perhaps, I hope in the past, in times of conflict, people perhaps had a similar moment where the sun was shining and they were able just to enjoy that, even just for a few moments, to to feel the warmth of the sunshine and perhaps grab a little bit of hope and go about whatever they might have been doing. So, with that, I'd like to say that I hope that this weekend that everybody in some way or other has shown their respects and has taken part, even in some small way, to remember those who have fallen in times of conflict, and I'd like to just say that I think we should all think about how lucky we are, and hope that the future is peaceful, we can all get on and enjoy ourselves and enjoy our great hobbies, pastimes and community spirit and all that sort of thing. So with that, I shall say I hope we shall remember well this weekend. Keep the pipes puffing, keep the cameras rolling, and cheerio for now.